Donald L. Tucker Center. It's the home of Florida State Seminoles basketball, where tonight it's the last and final Big Ten ACC Challenge, at least for now. I'm Rob Blackman, the voice of Purdue basketball on the radio. The guy to my immediate right, that's Bobby Riddell. You hear his voice as well on the radio broadcast. The former Purdue Boilermaker Bobby Riddell, and Chris Forman, of course, our sports information director for men's basketball. You see him on this broadcast each and every time we put one of these on for you. And tonight it's a special night because we've taken the show on the road to talk about Purdue and Florida State. Here's all you need to know. Florida State not off to a great start. They're 1-7 on the season. Our Boilermakers, they're off to a great start. 6-0 and ranked 5th in the country. Bobby, following that impressive performance in Portland last week, where Purdue knocked off West Virginia, 6th-ranked Gonzaga, 8th-ranked Duke in 3 consecutive games. That was a heck of a weekend.
It was a heck of a weekend, and just an unbelievable experience for us. It's just been really fun. You know, this team comes into this season off the last year's team that was ranked top 10 all season long. This year's team comes in, not nearly the expectations, and now look at, you know it, we're number 5 in the country. So it's just a testament to Coach Painter and the ability just to reload rather than rebuild.
Chris Forman, you know this because you have to handle the number crunching. Yep. Purdue started the season unranked, nowhere to be found, and now they've skyrocketed to number 5.
Yeah, number 5 in the country after 3 impressive wins. What I really liked about the wins is that we started slow in 2 of the 3 games against Gonzaga, Duke. The reserves came in, the bench came in, kind of steadied the ship, and after that it was, you know, they ran away with it. And the last 2 games were not close in the second half. Duke got it down to about 8 points. Gonzaga got it down to about 10 at one point. But after that, and the way they ended, I mean, they ended on big runs in those last 2 games as well. So really good after the first 5 minutes. Let's hope we can take the first 5 minutes tonight and really get off to a strong start.
Purdue ended the Duke game not allowing Duke to score a single point in the final 7 minutes. When is the last time that happened to Duke? I don't know. I should ask this guy. That's his job.
I don't know
certainly don't know. But we know this. Rarely does an opponent handle Duke the way that Purdue did on Sunday. I know it's early in the season. We'll temper our expectations for the moment, but Purdue's off to a great start. Florida State, not so much. As a matter of fact, talking about Duke, the last really good win for Florida State was in this building last January when they knocked off Duke. Duke was top 5 in the country at the time. Since then, Bob Riddell, this team has really been struggling to find any type of consistency. Injuries have been a big problem for them, to be fair, but this is a game tonight where Purdue cannot let its guard down, even though Florida State's 1-7.
No question. I mean, we're going to experience tonight exactly what last year's team experienced, where you're going to get team's best shots when you got that crooked number next to your name. Purdue now ranked 5th in the country. Florida State really struggling, needs a huge energy bump for their squad and some positive momentum to go their way. So going to expect to get their best ever tonight. And, you know, they've lost a lot of talent to the NBA the last handful of years. You know, it's tough for programs to be able to replace that on a year-in, year-out basis. Purdue's been fortunate enough this year to, even after losing, you know, Jaden Ivey and a number of other quality seniors to graduation, to be able to play as well as they have this year. Florida State definitely going through some struggles. They still have some talented players, but the pieces maybe just not fitting. Let's just hope they don't fit well tonight.
Last year, Florida State lost 53 man games to injury. That's a lot of games to lose with key players. And quite frankly, to be fair, 2 of their better players aren't playing this year. A player who last year at Brown was the Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year. He's out because of injury. And a transfer from overseas who played for Real Madrid, not the soccer team, the basketball team. They think he could be a one and done. He's ineligible until January. So Florida State does have a chance to get better before the season's over. Back to our Boilermakers. What an impressive showing at Portland, Chris. Not only as a team, but some individual awards coming out of there as well.
Yeah, Zach Edey was named Big Ten Player of the Week. Probably should have gotten, in my opinion, some national awards. He did not. Fletcher Lawyer was named the Big Ten Freshman of the Week and the CBS Sports National Freshman of the Week. If you look at what Zach did over the weekend, I mean, he absolutely dominated. The thing I liked, Drew Timme, Gonzaga, great player. Absolute stud. Zach handled him defensively, and Drew guarded him some. He handled him. Next game against Duke, Derek Lively was the #1 recruit in the country last year, and he absolutely just fouled him out. Derek Lively was a zero factor, had 0 points, maybe 1 rebound, a couple blocks here and there. Remember, I keep telling people this, Zach Edey was the number 440 ranked recruit in the country. Derek Lively was #1. Throw the rankings out the windows, Rob.
Who ranks the rankers, as we like to say. Also want to point out Ethan Morton. Not only was he named to the all-tournament team, but his assist to turnover numbers were out of this world.
Yeah, 19-1 in the 3 games up in Portland. Just absolute dominance running the show for the Boilermakers in the offensive end. And you look at what he did defensively. He averaged 4 points a game, and he's named to the all-tournament team. I think that says a lot about the role that Ethan Morton brings to this team.
Fletcher Lawyer's been named the Big Ten Freshman of the Week, and why not? 18 points against Duke, 14 against Gonzaga. Someone needs to tell the freshmen that freshmen aren't supposed to be this good on that big of a stage.
Well, I think that as confident as those 2 freshmen are, I think they're expecting to play well at this stage, and they obviously have all the accolades coming into this season to prove how talented they are. Fletcher is the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Indiana, Braden being the Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana. Both those guys, all kinds of talent, all kinds of confidence, and they got the swagger to boot. Especially Braden, he plays a little bit of that swagger and confidence. Fletcher, more of that quiet confidence to him. But even Fletch, hitting some of those big threes, he's letting people know about it. He's hooting and hollering, going back down the court. So it's fun to see those 2 guys excel and play off of each other.
What I really like to see about them is that they have stones. They have absolute stones. And they're not scared of any situation. They've both hit huge shots in those games. Braden Smith, we were up 4 against West Virginia, hits a corner 3 when they're making a run. Just an absolute huge play for them.
I would also add this. They're not bashful about shooting. Typically we see freshmen, they miss 2 or 3 in a row, they don't shoot again. These 2 guys keep shooting. I like that about him.
Oh, no question. Fletcher, he didn't start off the year shooting great from the perimeter. I think some people were, asking Coach Painter, what's going on with Fletcher? And Coach Painter had all the confidence in the world that Fletcher was going to make those shots eventually. It's a big adjustment from high school to college, and he just had a couple shots not fall that are normally going to fall, and he showed in Portland. If you leave this guy open, if you put a lot of attention on Zach Edey and you don't get your rotations down properly and you leave Fletcher Lawyer open, you're going to pay for it. And then, as Chris said, Braden Smith, just huge onions on that 3-pointer in the corner. Ethan Morton makes the assist on that play. As a testament to his 19 assists and 1 turnover. I like the fact that Purdue has 3 guys on the perimeter in that starting lineup. Ethan Morton's not even the point guard on this team, and he's dropping dimes left and right. And all 3 of those guys are willing passers, can all make shots from the perimeter. It's a nice recipe.
Fletcher Lawyer is shooting 39% from 3 on the season. Braden Smith is shooting 44%. Speaking of 4s, Purdue's 4 position coming up huge this weekend in Portland. We hope it continues. Talking about Trey Kaufman-Wren, talking about Caleb First, talking about Mason Gillis. Man, those 3 guys combined were really good.
Yeah, Caleb First was absolutely great against Duke. Double-double, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds, just really went after the board. He plays really, really hard, and that's very encouraging to use his talents in the minutes that he gets, because he probably wants to play more minutes, but he's backing up an All-American at the 5, so he uses his minutes to his advantage. Mason Gillis had struggled some start of the year shooting the ball, really came to life against West Virginia, played well against Gonzaga, shot the ball well against Duke. Trey Kaufman-Wren gives you a physical presence in the post. They've really played well this year.
All right, a couple things to know about tonight's matchup in the Big Ten ACC Challenge with Purdue and Florida State. No matter what happens tonight, with this event going away, even if Purdue were to lose tonight, we hope that's not the case, but even if, Chris, Purdue still ends up with the all-time best record in this event for a Big Ten team.
Yeah, Purdue's 12-9 coming into the event. They had a 7-game win streak earlier in a few years ago that ended, but with losses by Wisconsin and Penn State last night, no matter what happens, Purdue's guaranteed with the best record among Big Ten teams, which is just a statement to Coach Painter out the importance that they place on this event. Like, these are usually signature wins for your season. So
I would also add this. Big Ten needs some wins tonight, fans. Right now it's 5-3 in favor of the ACC with 6 games to go. We need some Big Ten victories tonight. Hopefully Purdue can do its part. The first time Purdue played in this event, in this building, 2005. Florida State, they mopped the floor with our Boilermakers. I can't think of any nicer way to say it. One of the main reasons they handled us so easily, my partner here, Bob Riddell, had to stay back in West Lafayette because of sickness. He was ill, he couldn't make it to the game. Had we had you that night, Bob, we might have won this one.
Oh, I'm sure I would have made a difference. Down 30 with about 2 minutes to go, I'm sure I could have came in and got really hot and maybe brought us back. No, that was not our night. We really had a lot of struggles there, Coach Painter's first year. I think fans appreciated that team, even though we weren't very talented, didn't have a great year. We played hard. Maybe not that particular night against the Seminoles. That game got away from us, but hopefully tonight, in this building, we can have a little more success than the last 2 times Purdue's been here.
We hope that is the case. Thank you for joining us for a few minutes tonight. For those that will be listening along the radio network lines, our pregame show begins in just a couple of minutes. At the top of the hour, myself and Bob Riddell will bring you all the action, Purdue and Florida State. For Chris, for Bob, I'm Rob. If we don't see you tonight, we'll see you Sunday at Mackey Arena for the Big Ten opener against Minnesota at 5 o'clock. Hunter was behind the scenes. We thank him as well. Have a great night, fans. Boiler up, hammer down, and let's win ourselves one more Big Ten ACC event. Thanks, everyone. Good night.